We're live in Burbank, California. Glendale, California. Hello, everyone. We're live, right? Yeah, okay, there it is. How's it going? Happy Thursday, or whatever day, as 2020 continues. I'm Drew. Anybody who's here probably knows me. I don't think there's a lot of people here who don't. I am gonna share some songs I made up, and a couple that I didn't. I've been making up songs a lot of my life, but until recently I haven't been sharing them much since the film industry's been kind of on hiatus this year with that whole COVID thing. I've had a little bit more time to work on songs, so this is the first time I've tried to do them live. I've been doing some videos, putting them out there for people to check out, some recordings and stuff, and hopefully I'm going to record a little record of these things soon. Been doing a lot of demos, so just wanted to get the opportunity to share some of these with you guys. This is one I made up called the Falls of the Ohio, which is a really cool place to go. It's a state park in between Indiana and Kentucky. There's this old fossil bed there. It's really cool, and it's a nice place to sneak off to with your sweetheart. The song's called The Falls of the Ohio. Thank you, humans that are in the room with me, and humans that are here with me virtually. 16 of you. Yeah. Hi, Nadia. And Mom and Dad are watching, I think. Hello. Yeah, so that's the Falls of the Ohio. What was I going to do next? Oh, 13. I lost a few. Too much talking. Too much talking in between already. It's okay. 13 is plenty. It's enough to make me a little nervous. I'm going to need some of you all to turn around and face the other way. I'm going to do a song. This is one I didn't make up, but I wish I did. Townes Van Zandt wrote this song way back a long time ago. This is called To Live Is to Fly. Won't say I love you, babe. Won't say I need you, babe. But I'm gonna get you, babe. I will not do you wrong. Living's mostly wasting time, and I waste my share of mine. But it never feels too good, so let's don't take too long. You're soft as glass, and I'm a gentle man. We've got the sky to talk about, and the world to lie upon. Everything is not enough, and nothing's too much to bear. Where you been is good and gone, all you keep is the getting there. Well, to live is to fly, low and high. So shake the dust off of your wings and the sleep out of your eyes. It's goodbye to all my friends, it's time to leave again. Here's to all the poetry and the picking down the line. I'll miss the system here, the bottom's low and the treble's clear. But it don't pay to think too much on the things you leave behind. Well, I may be gone, but it won't be long. I'll be bringing back the melody and the rhythm that I find. We all got holes to fill, them holes are all that's real. Some fall on you like a stone, sometimes you dig your own. Choice is yours to make, time is yours to take. Some dive into the sea, some toil upon the stone. Well, to live is to fly, low and high. So shake the dust off of your wings and the sleep out of your eyes. I said shake the dust off of your wings and the tears out of your eyes. Yeah, that's a Townes Van Zandt song. I like that one because in a catalog of pretty dark, dismal tunes, that one is actually kind of hopeful. And we could use that around now, I think. 20 people. All right, some of y'all are really going to have to turn around and face the other way. Now I'm getting nervous. Just kidding. So I made this, just check the tuning real quick. I made this song up about my lovely girlfriend Paige's grandmother. She told me a story.
Greg's watching, my dad's watching.
Oh, Greg. Hey, Greg. So I made this up, which I've played it for you before, about that story your mother told me about. They were on a drive. I guess you grew up in Kansas City, I think, or around there. They must have been on a drive from wherever they lived in one particular suburb to maybe the lake or something. It was one of those like Sunday afternoon drives, and they pulled off in a one-stop light kind of town, kind of like the town I grew up in probably. And Greg's mother, Paige's grandmother, noticed these two girls, preteen girls, dressed up in the Amish get-up, or Mennonite. If you know how to tell the difference between an Amish and a Mennonite, you win the prize. One drives cars, I think, is the right. So dismissive of me. Anyway, there's these Amish girls, and they noticed that she had this magazine, this Star magazine, People magazine, or some other such type of magazine with movie stars in it and stuff, and they were pretty interested and intrigued by it. And she told me this probably like 3 years ago, and she must have been about 90, and I just thought, wow, that's cool that like little memory sticks out. Of all the memories that could remain, that one sticks out. So I made this up about kind of what she did at the end of the story. Sorry if I paint some of the male characters in this with broad strokes, but it's kind of a commentary too, a little bit. So this is fancy lady from the city reading People magazine in a Cadillac. Does it sound okay? Danny's tweaking the mic, so I'm making sure we're good. All right, this is fancy lady from the city reading People magazine in a Cadillac. She's a fancy lady from the city, riding in a Cadillac. It was driven by her husband, a boy he didn't know Jack. Well, they couldn't cook or clean, but they couldn't even wash his clothes. Well, they couldn't please a woman if she sat right on his nose. They pulled him to the filling station so he could fill her up with gas. He watched through the window while he pumped. He thought he could kiss the glass. But she looked through People magazine at the stars and the pretty clothes. The pages smelled like samples of cologne and dreams she'd never know. Dreams she'd never know. Two plain girls sat on a wall across from the fancy car, dresses down to their ankles and hair not behind by far. They were mesmerized by the shimmery paint on the Cadillac's metal walls, but more by the cheeks that shimmered on a fancy woman from afar. But she looked up from her magazine but pretended not to see two bashful girls sitting on a wall, sweaty palms against their knees. Well, the fancy woman in the fancy car stepped out into the breeze. She crossed her heart and sat on the wall, People magazine on her knees. The two girls blushed and they tried not to look as they inched right over her way. Well, she cracked a grin and shifted her hips so they could see the page. It was a glimpse of things they'd never seen, of dreams they'd never known. It was a cloud that hung over their lives, wrapped in a shiny bow. Wrapped in a shiny bow. Old man called out to his girls from a horse and buggy that sat nearby. His beard was long, but his temper was short. They looked like they could cry. And just the same, her husband called her right back to the car. But she rolled her eyes back to her book and wished upon a star. She raised herself up from the ledge and smiled right at those girls. Sat the book down on the edge and opened up their world. As a fancy lady rode away in her husband's Cadillac, the dream was stowed under two dresses, never to be taken back. I like that story. Yeah, she said she just kind of set the Little People magazine down on the bench or retaining wall or whatever. I made it a wall in my version, but just set it down and walked away. As she got in the car, she saw them tuck the magazine up under their dresses when they ran back off to the wagon. I like that one. Got claps from Greg. Ted's here. Hey guys, thanks for coming by. While we're on that story song mode, I'm gonna do another little story song kind of thing. So, working in bars and restaurants between like acting jobs and such, a lot of times you end up being the guardian of the public bathroom. In cities, a lot of times people want to get into a bathroom because you're driving from one place to another, and it's that whole like you got to buy something to use the bathroom and stuff. And especially here in Los Angeles, when we have one of the highest homelessness issues here, a lot of times it's just folks that want to get in and maybe clean up a little bit, have the decency of the dignity of indoor plumbing for a minute. So this song I made up about, like what one of those stories might be. I had a boss that was really intent on running bums off from the bathroom, and I was always the guy who was looking the other way while they got in there and washed up a little bit. I think that place shut down. So this song is called The Ballad of Billy the Bathroom Bandit. Because that's kind of how I felt like people who are just trying to get in and use indoor plumbing are made to feel like they're some kind of bandit. And this might be like what one of those stories are like. It's kind of a cowboy song. Billy left his home down south to see what he could see. Nobody knows like Billy knows what it costs to live for free. But he trudged the earth both far and wide, from sea to shining sea. Broke into every bathroom stall from Florida to Tennessee. Well, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do when a man has got to be. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run, he's on the run. Billy the bathroom bandit's always on the wrong end of the gun. Billy just wants a warm, safe place to get out of the sun. One place a man can have his thoughts and fear not being shunned. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run. But Billy found himself in a predicament of the most unusual kind. He had very little storage space in his tent below the freeway, but things was overstored in his mind. He quite enjoyed his freedom and his choice of how to spend his time, but he sure did miss that porcelain throne where he could sit down and unwind. They tried to use the CVS down at Willoughby and Vine. Customers only, the cashier said, can't you read the sign? Well, Billy tried to bite his tongue and keep himself in line, but instead he said, why don't you go back where you came from? Our country don't need your kind. Well, they called the cops and Billy around, but not before he grabbed some wine. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run, he's on the run. Billy the bathroom bandit's always on the wrong end of the gun. Billy just wants a warm, safe place to get out of the sun. One place a man can have his thoughts and fear not being shunned. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run. But Billy had about enough of Hollywood. He decided it was time to take in the ocean breeze. So he rolled his tent and packed his bags and headed for the beach. There was hippies playing music and girls on rollerblades, and he felt like he could breathe in a whole row of public stalls right down by the sea. Well, he made a friend and a man with dreads who called himself Raheem. They rolled a joint and took a drag. This might just be the American dream. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run, he's on the run. Billy the bathroom bandit's always on the wrong end of the gun. Billy just wants a warm, safe place to get out of the sun. One place a man can have his thoughts and fear not being shunned. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run. liked to pick his guitar down at the far end of the pier, where the notes got mixed in the wind and waves, and peace was all that he could hear. Well, he never knew he could be both warm and cold at the same time, as a California sun dried away his tears. But when he'd sit alone at night, the screams and cries would creep back in his ears. You see, Billy'd seen the truth and collected more memories than would fit inside his years. That night as the ocean screamed, he knew the end was near. So he gathered his supplies and sought that solemn shelter to face up to his fears. Lashed the door behind him against their judgments and their sneers. And as he leaned in a corner with his dog tags in one hand and a syringe in the other, Billy slowly disappeared. Billy the bathroom bandit's on the run, he's on the run. Billy the bathroom bandit's always on the wrong end of the gun. Billy just wants a warm, safe place to get out of the sun. The one place a man can have his thoughts and fear not being shunned. Billy the bathroom bandit, he's your native son. I started writing that, I thought it was like a funny song, and then it's not. Sorry about that. Don't blame me, blame society. Just my characters. I think they live in the real world. It's getting colder now. We have a pandemic going on. There's still a homelessness crisis, and veterans, yesterday was Veterans Day, are disproportionately affected by that historically, and still are. And I don't know, something to keep in mind. What was I gonna do next? No one knows but me. Oh, thank you guys. Thanks for the love. Wendy Deserney, hello. Hi. Yeah, hi Sinbad. Oh, you can't see her. There's a cat visiting me right now. Oh, there she is. Hi Sinbad. This is actually the time that I need the notes that you're standing on. Any other time you could stay for the performance. Thank you for that. Lighten the mood. Okay, so speaking of sad shit, COVID is happening. The obituaries this year have been a little long for everyone's taste, and particularly the Americana folk scene lost a lot of greats. I mean, we lost John Prine, which was pretty heavy for me, like my hero, to COVID toward the beginning of the pandemic. Justin Townes Earl, Steve Earle's son, died. He's 36 years old, not from COVID. And then a couple weeks ago, Billy Joe Shaver, and just a few days, less than a week before Billy Joe Shaver, Jerry Jeff Walker, who you might know as the writer of Mr. Bojangles. A contemporary of Billy Joe Shaver is kind of strange. They, passed right there, like within a week of each other. Anyway, I thought I'd play a Jerry Jeff Walker song for this last song that's one that I didn't make up. Sorry if I'm playing with this hair a lot. I'm not cutting it until there's a vaccine. It's getting colder here and I can't keep this guitar in tune. You're supposed to tell a joke when you do the tuning. What's the difference between a priest and a rabbi? A priest says, "Hey kid, you want some candy?" A rabbi says, "Hey kid, you want to buy some candy?" Piss off the Catholics and the Jews. I know there's a lot of Catholics watching. That's why I thought that would be a good joke. Okay, I'm going to do Little Bird by Jerry Jeff Walker. Sit upon my windowsill. He sat there through the falling rain. As I watched that little bird upon my windowsill, I saw my thoughts of you go by again. In the picture of my face reflected on the pain. Is it tears I see or is it rain? How we talked before we said goodbye. Too young to know this world outside our door. And how we laughed and said our love was free like birds that fly the wind. Well, the rainy day made me think of you once more. Then the picture of my face reflected on the pain. Is it tears I see or is it rain? Regrets about the past. I see how young we were when our world was love and life was but a thought. But many things go many ways and many times but once. Now the world is gone and that life is but a thought. And the picture of my face reflected on the pain. Is it tears I see or is it rain? As the thoughts go tumbling back, I wonder how you lived. I wonder if you've seen that little bird. I wonder if he sat upon your windowsill. I wonder if you'll ever hear these words. In the picture of my face reflected on the pain. Is it tears I see or is it rain? Is it tears I see, or is it rain? That's a pretty song. Another one I wish I wrote. Everybody's got their, all like folk maker, song maker uppers have our bird song. I've got my bird song, but I'm not playing it tonight. If I do this again, I'll play my bird song. That's about it. I'm gonna do one more and then call it a night, I think. Thanks for coming by. Who's here? Kelsey, thank you. Okay. This song's called Back to Zero. I made this up. This one's fairly fresh. I made this up maybe 5 months ago. I don't know, it must have been longer than that. I was actually trying to write a script, a movie script, with a friend of mine. And we had our character that we had put through all this tragedy. And we were trying to, figure out the next plot point. And we're talking about, she's so in the hole emotionally and with everything. Like if she can just get back to zero was what I said. Like not even like a 2 or 3, on a scale of whatever. If she could just get back to zero, that would be good, And that like phrase stuck in my head. I was like, oh, that's a cool phrase, back to zero. And it popped back out when I was noodling on the guitar, and I made this little tune up. It's kind of a weird one, but Paige says it's her favorite that I've made up, so I'll see if I can do it for you. Chasing my tail around the world so slow, Just trying to get myself back to zero. My highs are too high and my lows too low. Zero is where I feel on my toes. There's a way people lay when they don't know where to go, all curled up like a pimple on a pillow. If I could take all the guns out of everybody's hands, I'd replace them all with overripe bananas. Take a moment in time and watch it expand till the wavelengths level out into one solid band. Well, chop down a tower and set yourself free. Pick up the pieces, build a brand new tree. I'm chasing my tail around the world so slow, just trying to get myself back to zero. My highs are too high and my lows too low. Zero is where I feel on my toes. There's a way people stroll when they don't know where to go, wandering around like a hound on a meadow. If I could only stand to hold my brother's hand, but the contact makes me nervous. Plus I get clammy. Take a walk on the beach, grab a tiny grain of sand, put it in your pocket on some beachfront land. Give my shit to the poor and set myself free. Pick up the pieces, start to feel like me. Chasing my tail around the world so slow, just trying to get myself back to zero. My highs are too high and my lows too low. Zero is where I feel on my toes. Chasing my tail around the world so slow, just trying to get myself back to zero. My highs are too high and my lows too low. Zero is where I feel on my toes. That's it. That's all I got for you. That's a pretty chord. I can't take credit for the chord. You just put your fingers there and it'll do it.
Matt likes that song. My brother Matt.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. Love you all. Maybe we'll do this again. I'll watch it back. If I like it, we'll do it again. If I don't, it was fun. Bye.